Welcome back, YouTube. It's your boy Cal. We back with another video, and today we're gonna be talking about Love Is Blind Season 7 reunion, man. We got some key points here. I got some key points, and we finna get it cracking. We're gonna talk about literally every couple. And we're gonna keep it a band.
I got my little, my notes. So
The tea is real.
T is real. All right, let's rate the
Clock
reunion.
it.
Rate the reunion.
I get a reunion out of 10. A 4.
It was like a 3. That shit was ass. I'm not gonna lie. They ain't asked no good questions. They ain't get into none of the tea. They let everybody skate through everything. Nick and Vanessa need to be fired. I'm not gonna lie. We need new hosts for these reunions because
That's their names?
Nick and Vanessa.
I ain't gonna lie. Nick, I'm just gonna say this. Nick ain't cool. You peep how every time it was something with the fellas, oh, I wanna hang out with you guys. But every time he was getting grilled and teared apart, he was quiet. But his wife, on the other hand, I think they married.
Yeah.
His wife just grilling in, making the jokes. No shade, bro. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
I don't like stuff like that. Like, we know who were the parents in that relationship. You want to hang with me, but you can't. Man to man, you can't see what's going on. Most men understand men, and most women understand women, and that's the thing. Everybody was literally understanding the women's sides and grilling the men like any chance they get. The condom jokes, the text, the sleep jokes, like.
Yeah, I feel like in general, this reunion, like they was going in on the men and they was really letting the girls skate. Like they ain't going on the girls at all. They really didn't ask the girls no questions.
Right.
And then even when they did go in on the girls, I feel like they was trying to tiptoe around it, and I did not like that.
And then it's like every time they get into the girls, right when they about to start cooking, like the pan hot, another girl would jump in to like save her and be like, well, Natalie, woo, I'm just making up a name.
It was just
but
giving very mean girl energy, and I did not like that.
Like we came on this show for love. Y'all just came on this show to be hateful and just say stuff that didn't even make sense.
All right, let's get into these couples. So we're gonna start off with Tyler and Ashley. I'm gonna say how I feel. You say how you feel after. All right. We're gonna take this point by point.
Point by point.
All right, Ashley. I'm gonna ask. Ashley is a bird. I don't care. She let that man lie on TV about them kids, and I just feel like she gives very much. I'm married, and at the end of the day, I'm still a wife. I got the ring. He don't treat me like that, so I don't care. And then she tried to say that we insulted her intelligence because we assumed that she didn't know. And I feel like if anything, we was respecting her by saying that. We were respecting her by assuming that she didn't know about them kids because why would you knowingly marry somebody who disowned their children on national television? We was really thinking like, girl, maybe she just didn't know about
Like,
it.
cause what if you next? And I don't know if this question pops up for people, but when people have kids for people, the first thing I think in my mind is, how did you do it? Because, hey, we know how we can have kids, but how did you do it? And if I was a female coming into a marriage and a dude told me that, I would want to know, did y'all like, or it was a sample? Because there's two ways you can do it. So I'm trying to think, what was it?
Another thing
that wasn't asked neither.
Another thing that she said was they had the conversation off camera and they lied to keep they had the conversation again on camera to keep the authenticity so that we knew that like they had talked about it, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't necessarily tell the whole truth. And to me personally, my thing is like, you got on camera and lied so that things were authentic, but how does that even make sense? And how does that protect? How do those lies protect anyone? Because she claimed that
it was
he
just
lied
she
about.
Glad she got the ring. Like,
he was just claiming he lied about them kids not knowing what he looked like, and lied about all that because he didn't want their identities to be put out there, and he didn't want people to try and go and investigate on them. But how does that protect them at all? If you wanted to protect them, why would you bring them up? Why would you even talk about them on camera? That's something that y'all could have talked about in private and kept off camera.
For one, then the narrative of him being a man of God blew me, because as a man of God, I'm telling you, we are not the same. That's not something I would have did. If I'm coming into an experience with an open heart and trying to find a wife like I have myself, yeah. So I just would have cut straight to the chase. I'm that type of person. I'm like, hey, look, shawty girl, I got kids. I do be in a life because the mother is a single mother and I'm trying to help her out. Yes, her mother is a lesbian and it ain't like that, but yeah, I would have kept it 100. And if she wasn't messing with me after that, then that's cool, because I said my truth, I said my piece. But he ain't come in like that. He tried to hide it. And hey, what come in the dark gotta come in the light at some point. So that's just what happened. And I felt like he tried to come in this show thinking that he was gonna, that wasn't gonna come back up, or that wasn't gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And then if that's the truth, why didn't you just have a conversation with the mother and be like, hey, I'm doing this show and this is about me. I helped you out. You're on your own. If you need me, I'm still there. But when I get on this show, I don't want no, you hear me? And it sounds crazy, but in a respectful way, they are friends. So it shouldn't sound crazy telling your friend like, hey, I'm doing something for me. This was my experience. So now I feel some type of way.
Another thing is, he saw them kids literally the day before he left. Like, we all know that. So why are we excusing that he didn't mention them kids until he got caught?
I don't like how he tried to make it seem like he didn't care about them kids until he got caught.
And respectfully, regardless of how them kids were conceived, and regardless of what the original agreement was, you was fathering them kids. Right. You stepped in to be a father for them kids. So regardless of whether or not,
as a man, you should have owned up to that, because a lot of people would have showed you more respect for that.
Yeah, it was disrespectful to act like them kids didn't know who he was, and just because you're in a new relationship on television to disown children who you have been fathering and raising.
And I said what I said on different terms.
Regardless of if the responsibility is still there for you to father them kids, or whatever the agreement is that you had with your baby mama.
You should just did what I said on day one. You should have just been honest.
Yeah, you still was being a father to them kids. So it's wrong regardless. And Nick and Vanessa are some bitches for not getting on his ass. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into Nick and Hannah.
Oh, Nick and Hannah, my favorite one. I'm not gonna lie.
No, let me. Okay.
I'm gonna let you.
Let
cook.
me just. I'm gonna say.
Let me
say all my points first, and then I just want you to go in because I know you got a lot to say. All right. So my first point, I want us to be completely clear. Let's just be completely honest and transparent. Hannah was emotionally and verbally abusive the entire season. The whole season. And the way that she spoke to him was not okay. I don't care. And the dynamic that we saw in that reunion, like Nick was even though she was bashing him and continuing to gaslight him and manipulating him, Nick still praised her. He still said that she was a good person. And I feel like that's very telling to what their actual relationship was like this entire season. Then like Hannah uses every single opportunity that she can to make herself feel like she's better than Nick, and the reunion was her attempt to spin that narrative and make it the narrative that they have online is that she's a bitch, because she is, and this was like her opportunity to make Nick seem like he's a bad person and make herself seem like she's a victim, and that's exactly what she tried to do, try to make herself feel better. Also, this was Hannah's opportunity to take accountability and apologize, and she literally she just doubled down on everything that she said the whole season.
She was definitely too conceited. And
yeah,
at the end
she
of the
doubled
day,
down on it. She was like, well, I'm just direct, I'm blunt, that's just, y'all just didn't like how I said it. That's basically what she was like.
Right.
She was like, nothing that I said was wrong, and that's just me. I went to therapy, and I just felt that shows her character, and she's a bad person. Another thing, now let's get into that gang up on Nick. The entire interaction, that whole gang up on him pissed me clean off. Everybody mad about Nick making comments about what Hannah looked like, and yeah, it was me, but nobody wanted to get on him and ask about all the disrespectful stuff that she was saying to him the entire season, every
Yes,
single episode.
him living with his
Every
mom,
single episode.
or his room was boring, or him like commented on an empty room with the pool table. It was something there. Even him like not being financially stable, him not paying it was just every little thing. Then the second he tried to do and have some fun, like no shade, you get it on that duck. You too good to get on the duck. We just fell in love. Like, I'm that type of person. I'm lovey-dovey. I like to do stuff. Like, if I'm like, hey, like, let's get on this, I want my wife to be with me when I do it. And then to get mad when another girl decides to, and then get on him for it. Hey, I'm the type of person, if you don't do it with me and somebody does it with me, I can't get mad. That's just that. You had open space. Matter of fact, it was another duck on the side. Y'all, all three of them could have had a race.
You could have walked over there.
Right.
Another thing is, everybody was so mad about Nick
calling her a grenade. Like,
yeah, everybody was so mad about Nick having his opinions about what she looked like. But literally, when they did their first looks and they first met up in person, Hannah literally in her confessional said that Nick lied about what he looked like. She already was dissatisfied with how he looked. So how are you gonna be mad that he matched that same energy? I just didn't like that everybody tried to gang up on Nick and tear Nick down.
And what's that dude named? The freaky dude.
Steven.
Yeah, you broke bro code. I'm not cool.
I
with
just
that.
I don't like how everybody tried to jump on Nick for one thing that he did, but nobody had that energy for him. I didn't like that.
And it was
another thing is, I did not like the mean girl energy that all the girls had towards Nick. Like, it was like Hannah had her own posse, and I don't like that. Hannah is mean enough by herself. She don't need 15 different co-signers behind her on her bullshit. She don't need everybody else to come behind her and gang up on Nick and find some. It just felt like she had people trying to co-sign her and back her up to make Nick look like he's a bad person,
right?
Because
hold on,
she was a mean person on the show. I got one more point. It was just given that they were trying to be like, oh, her little litter of friends is the mean girl fucking brigade. They was all just trying to say, well, Nick, you're not a saint either. And I don't like that narrative they was trying to spin. Instead of getting into the facts of the actual season, they was trying to come up with reasons to make Nick look like a bad person.
Because
I didn't like that.
I would have applauded her if she just would have said, hey, maybe I was a little bit too hard on you, on your situation, and maybe I should have gave you some wiggle room, because you can't talk about me being broke if you quit your job to be here. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it's giving, you want me to provide something for you. Because if you watched, obviously if you clicked on this video, you watched the show. And you watched all the seasons or whatnot. So you already know how this go. So I'm just going to say this. You can't quit your job and expect somebody to move in with you and help you out. Because she was like, what are we splitting and what's yours? And he was like, she got mad because he said, I'm only responsible for me. Which I can hear that. We just started. Like, I need to know what I could pay first.
She said she wanted 50-50 anyways. Right. So if we do a 50-50, I'm responsible for myself.
Right. You shouldn't have quit your job. That's not on me. I wasn't there when you made that decision.
And that's another thing. Her entire, spiel was that she was more mature than him, and he was so immature. But Nick literally said that he was saving up for a house. He's a realtor. You think this man can't get himself a house?
Right.
Like, he was living with his parents while he was saving up for a house. And if anything, I think that's a smart thing. If your parents are going to take care of you and make sure that you're good. Especially with
inflation now.
Yeah, while you're trying to save. Do you know how expensive houses are?
And
he got a house too. Y'all seen that? Nick bought a house right after he bought a house right after the season.
And I'm not gonna lie, even when it come down to Hannah sister or brother?
Her brother.
Brother, even he said that, oh, she's being on me, she picks on me all the time. Like, you're getting bad characteristics from people that are outsiders looking in. So it already makes your persona looks even more like trashy / shitty, because it's like you ain't take ownership, and every time people put you on that pedestal, your excuse every time during a reunion, well, I'm just myself. I'm just real.
I'm just direct.
There's
a difference between.
It's a difference between being direct and real.
Yeah, it's a difference between just being direct and telling, like, there's a way to communicate that, and there's a difference between being
and
direct
Nick kept on
and
saying
just
you're telling your
down.
perspective. Literally, everybody has a perspective on things. What I say is my perspective. What she says is her perspective. Two things could be right at the same time, but at the same time, in a small fine line, it's just the truth. The truth is, you did not respect him enough to give him grace and then bash him on national TV, then try to bring up a note that he made way before the show. Like, I'm an actor. I get scripts all the time. So I'm already telling people or just writing down to myself that I'm gonna be famous.
Let's get into all them notes that she was writing about him. Cause girl,
she wrote a whole note and she was like, I didn't forget about the note. Like, what do you mean? And he said, can we just put this in the, you know what I'm saying, and start something? Like, he was literally begging her to like, hey, can we just talk about this and leave it alone? And she just keeps bringing it up. I remember one day they already talked about it. It's like the next day, and she literally says, I still have the note. We still haven't talked about everything on the note. And then he was like, what is there else to talk about?
You think I'm immature and ugly and annoying?
Yeah, he literally just gave a summary on the note.
You just want to bash me is what it's giving. All right, let's get into Rances and Marissa. Marissa, I'm on your ass. I lost a lot of respect for Marissa this episode. I already had like my feelings about her. I still had respect for her though, and I feel like this episode, like, her back at his behavior was really disgusting. Like, that
her
energy,
mom,
that energy that she had towards Nick, girl, you didn't even have that energy towards Ramses, and that man had your ass on the floor, bawling your eyes out, and you gonna get on Nick,
and
you won't even know Nick.
What's her name? Marissa. I would like to say you could tell a lot about a person by the cloth they're cut from. Your mom, as a grown woman, an adult, a parent, you don't get on the show and making threats because if Ramses were to take that video and sue you because he felt distressed or felt threatened, it will hold up because you have not only once, maybe once the court would have been like, okay, she was just joking. But you have every chance to see this. I will literally cut your balls off, or I want to punch you in your throat. Just threats on threats on threats of violence. That's something you got to deal with on your own.
I don't like how she
talked to him. He handled it way better than me because I would have said, hold on, let me call my sister right quick. Or let me call my mom right quick because we could get it jumping in here. Because you're not going to threaten me on national TV.
Yeah, I ain't like that.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of the men were cool on the show besides me because I would have, you tripping.
All right, I got 3 points on them.
Okay.
So this is my theory about their relationship. I feel like Marissa is still finding herself, and that was like the downfall and detriment to their relationship. She was not firm in what she wanted, and because she's just coming into like a new personality, like that I think the new personality that she's coming into, I think that personality aligns with Ramses' morals, and that personality was compatible with Ramses. And if she was firm in that new personality that she's coming into, they could have been a good couple. But I think that because her old personality conflicts directly with everything that Ramses believes in, and she was wavering back and forth, I feel like, and Ramses also was somebody who was very firm in what he believed in and knew exactly what he wanted. And her wavering,
it has been through
I feel like,
once.
it has already been through it. Her wavering, I feel like, was a turn off for him. And I feel like Ramses could tell that she needed to get to a stronger place of what she wanted. And her getting to that stronger place, it was going to require a lot of work. And I think because Ramses had already been married before, I think that he just did not want to be married to another project. I think that dating would have been fine.
Right. But this is something that he wants to tie the knot. Because he explained it multiple times to her that, hey, if this doesn't work out, it's going to be a long, like, this has to work out, because he said he's not doing this again. Which I understand.
Because he's already been married before. And I think another thing is because, like you said, people are based off of the cloth they cut from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, based off the cloth that they're cut from. Her mom is very aggressive. Her mom is somebody prenup. Like, girl, don't nobody want her money. Her mom is argumentative, so she was already raised in a household where she had to defend herself. And I think that's another thing is, like, every single time she started off firm in something, like even that conversation about the contraceptives, she literally started the conversation off saying, well, I guess I need to get back on my birth control. And when Ramses was like, yeah, you do need to get back on your birth control, now it had to become an argument of, well, I'm not going to get back on my birth control. And he was like, okay, well, what are we going to do then? And I feel like
Then
just
she was
always
like,
had
just
to.
use condoms, and he was like, well, I don't
Yeah.
like the feeling, so
Yeah, and I think they're both justified in feeling how they feel, but I feel like a lot
don't
of what
bring up
I
something you're
feel
not
like
really trying to hash out.
I feel like a
Like,
lot of what she did was go back on what she said. Like even when they were having the conversation about their political views, Marissa started off talking about um, how she wasn't proud necessarily of the things that she had did while she was in the military, and how she would never go back to the military because she didn't agree with some of the decisions that she had to make, and she felt like it was a moral conflict for her while she was in the military.
I didn't like that
And
because
then
she
as
didn't even
soon as
comfort him after that because
hold on, and then as soon as Ramses was like, yeah, I'm really happy that you have come to that conclusion, because if you were still in the military, I don't think that this is a relationship that could have worked, because like I said, Ramses knows exactly what he wants and he's firm in his beliefs. As soon as he said that, now all of a sudden Marissa is having this conflict with her past personality where she's like, well, that still was part of who I was, and I don't want you to feel a way towards me because I was in the military. And Ramses never once disrespected her for being in the military. He was just firm in, I cannot date you if you go back to the military. And the fact they had a whole argument about that just goes to show.
he even
you know what
told
I'm saying?
her where he was from and how the military
Directly, it directly affects his lineage. You know what I'm saying? It directly affects his culture and his country. So, my only thing about the reunion was I didn't like how they tried to comfort Marissa after they discussed the breakup. I'm sad for Marissa, and I empathize with how she felt about the breakup, because
And-
they did have it seemed like they had a good
And
loving
hold on,
relationship.
let me say something. I don't like the bash. That's my issue. It was a comment said, and she was like, "We all do things with the whoop," and then Melissa comes out and just like Marissa comes out, and I was like, "Yeah, him." Like, what's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
You obviously enjoyed it because y'all couldn't get off each other. They voted y'all the most, type of couple.
That's another reason why I'm saying Nick and Vanessa need to be fired, because how she just get to slip in there? Oh, we was each other after, and they asked no questions about that. Y'all asked no questions. I want to know about that. How that happened? But yeah, I didn't like how. I understand that it was kind of wrong for Ramses to end things like right before they was about to get married. Like I feel like he kind of knew already, but and I understand how heartbreaking that was.
Right.
But I don't think that just because Ramses ended things that he's a bad person, that he should be villainized. I think they were both justified to feel how they felt. He was justified to leave because he didn't feel like he could be what she needed.
He saved himself the heartbreak.
He was saving himself and her the heartbreak.
And her mom was saying little stuff too and was like,
and she justified to be upset, but he was justified to leave.
She talking about something, you didn't get to see what I see. You didn't get to see her crying on the floor. I was like, bro, all that crying and sympathy stuff, I ain't gonna lie. Look in my eyes, chat. That shit it don't faze me. I come from an iron brick house, and we firmly believe in my family, you reap what you sow. With compassion. We still got mercy for people, compassion, but it's like, I don't want her no weeping and crying when every time I try to come to you, you want a big boy me. You supposed to be submissive. I'm your husband. Why everything gotta be an argument? And I'm gonna tell you something right now, and this goes for male or female. Don't nobody want to be in no marriage or relationship where every time I bring up something, it's an argument. Cause now it's just over time, it's gonna be the littlest stuff ever. Oh, you left the toothpaste cap on the floor. So
all of
pick
that,
it up.
Like, all of that built up hatred and arguments and like random arguments over stuff that like not picking your battles. That stuff starts to add up.
Even when he confronted her about the wedding, which we both can understand because our wedding was stressful too, and we came to each other like a day before the wedding, and we talked about it, and it was smooth. But when he tried to, now watching it on TV, like, oh, hey, Bayla, this is what we went through. We laugh, joke about it, and I'm thinking like it's gonna go how we did it. She literally was complaining about little things, and even my wife even confided to me that the little things that she was worrying about during the wedding that we talked about, she was like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So just to see that scene again,
after the wedding, you realize like yes, in the moment we're girls. I'm gonna just say like from a girl's perspective, we dream about our wedding like our whole lives. So like every little detail is so important to us, where it's not really that important to them. And so and a lot of the time the girl does a lot of the planning because it's the girl's dream wedding. I mean, we just gonna be real. The wedding is for the girl. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, for him to say, you know, I still want us to focus on ourselves because that's what's most important, and for her not to even acknowledge or care about that was very telling.
Yeah,
and
that
I
let
feel
me
like,
know right there.
yeah, it was very telling because we've had conversations like that. We've talked about stuff like that when we were planning our wedding, and we were very cognizant of how we were making each other feel. And I had real conversations with him about, you know, how can I better include you? How can I make you feel more heard? How can I, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not just about me. This is our day. What can I do better? And I feel like that's telling us to what your marriage is going to look like.
And what's the cloth you was cut from? Because it's clear. And let's be clear, her cloth was very filthy. Her mom did not even believe in love. She didn't take the experience as serious as the other parents did.
Also, let's be real. Manifestation is really a big thing, and the words that come from your mouth and the negativity that you're spewing over somebody's marriage, if you're not religious and if you don't have somebody on your side fighting for you and protecting you and covering your marriage, what people speak over you can really come to pass. You have the power of life and death in your tongue. So for your mom to be speaking over your marriage, yeah, it's not gonna work out, get a prenup, you know what I'm saying? You're already spewing negativity over a marriage that hasn't even happened yet.
Right.
You already putting that, you already putting that negativity into the air. Right. So that manifestation that you put over your child could have really contributed to them not working out.
And I got a feeling she was gonna be very controlling. Like, no shade, I don't want a relationship where the parents got more say than we do, because that's not gonna happen.
I don't like that.
When
we're joining together,
that was the point. That was the point of the marriage.
You leave your mother to join with your husband. You leave your
father to
right.
Join. So I felt like her mom would have played a big role if they were still dating. So it just wasn't. She didn't even like Ramses already. She what's that word? She tolerated him.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna be real. Now I'm not gonna lie. I do think that they did have potential to be a good relationship. I just think that it was not the right time for them.
All right.
But I lost a lot of respect for her. I did
too. And starting off, I would like to say, coming into the season 7, me and my wife like to do is we like to pick our couples on who we think will make it and who was our favorite.
We were right.
And I ain't gonna lie, our favorite when it first started was Ramses, and so we had high expectations for them.
We also really like Ashley and Tyler.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but I lost my respect for Tyler and Ashley too. All right, Steven and Monica. Steven is the freaky dude.
Let me start this off.
I'll let you say.
Let me cook y'all. I got to say is I'm not taking up for nobody. I'm just being straight up factual. I feel like both sexes of the show, male and female, nobody had time to cut off what they were doing in their old life to get on this show. And when it's one of those shows where you can't have your phone, it happens. Now, he already stated that he was talking to the girl for a long time, and he lied about that. So it's okay. You should have just been honest. Like, hey, this is something that I had brewing before the show. And maybe he did not have time to cut it off, but that's not stuff they're going to say or explain on the show. Yeah, it don't justify it, but it's real. Like right now, if some stuff was happening before the marriage or before I met her, then
we cut that off.
Early
we
on.
Had the time to do so.
Right. So I just felt like he didn't have the time. And I want to say, I don't like the way the show depicted it as he wasn't at the sleep test and that he didn't, that he left. They made it seem like he left the sleep test and he wasn't present. And that's just how the show depicted it. I guess for drama and like happened. That's a lie reason. Like
they literally showed a picture of him. All right, I got some points. So first off, I'm gonna just establish how I felt about that couple before we even got to this movie.
I just felt like they wasn't evenly yoked. I just felt like she wasn't attracted to him.
So Monica was never attracted to that man. She was never attracted to that man. I don't care what nobody says. She was never attracted to him. As soon as she seen him, when they went through that little thing, she was not attracted to him. He was not her type, and she said that he wasn't her type.
Okay,
and
hold on. Wait.
Nobody ever wants to talk about that.
Every time they was bashing the men for saying something, about the girl. If you coming on the show and you find somebody you're gonna be with forever, looks are a big picture. It's a big concerning factor. It's like, hey,
Monica was trying to find her attraction to him the entire time they were dating. As soon as they got out of this house, she was trying to figure out what she was attracted to, and she was so disgusted with him. You could literally see it. You could literally see, like, she hated the way he talked. She hated his jokes. She hated how he kissed her.
Yes,
you could see it.
And like,
you could literally see it in her face.
He's a yapper, and I understand because
and she hated it.
I'm a yapper. I yap all day and night. I could talk from the morning to the night. It don't matter. So I feel like she could have told him in a more respectful way. And I didn't like that.
He just gave her the ick, and you could tell she was disgusted with him, and she was really trying to find it. Because I think that she felt like he was a good man. He just was not, she was not attracted to him. And a lot of stuff that he did turned her off. I don't think that they were sexually compatible at all, and I do not think that they were compatible. I don't think that they had the same foundational wants. Monica she wants to be put up. She wants to be with somebody who's wealthy, who takes care of her and pampers her.
Yeah, because I don't think she was cool with the 50-50. I don't. She wasn't cool with the 50-50.
This man is an electrician. She she want to be put up. I think Steven wants a fun, sexual, best friend, goofy relationship, and that's not what she was. Monica wanted to be put up. She wanted to be pampered. She wanted to be treated like a queen. Right. And I think that's not what. Right,
even down to the flower situation. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, some stuff as a man you should know.
Flowers from this man, and y'all is on a honeymoon before the honeymoon.
Like y'all literally just had access to the phones. Y'all just had access to the phones, probably stores. It probably was like them. The time they was able to send gifts was probably the only time they could like secretly have their phone, or we would know offset or how they arranged it to get gifts. So I just feel like, bro, give me some time. Yeah, you want like gifts before getting to know me. Yeah, I'm the gift.
I feel like she didn't give him the chance to show her. She didn't give him the chance to show her what kind of man he really was, and I just think that she was not attracted to him. She was turned off by a lot of stuff that he did.
And because of that, attraction and sex go hand to hand. Mm-hmm. So I feel like
if he a real sexual person and you're not even attracted to him, you could see like how that's going to affect him, especially if he got like a little couple. Two janks, whatever that he ain't cut off yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was, y'all not sexually compatible. And I feel like that played a whole lot into it. I honestly was very surprised that she was so distraught that things ended. I thought that she was going to be a lot more stoic about it because you could already tell that she had her reservations about him. And I do not think she ever loved him. I don't think she ever. If you watch the season, every single time she said she loved him, it never seemed genuine and never seemed believable.
Right. He was like...
I think that she was more upset about the fact that she wasn't getting a wedding anymore and she wasn't getting married anymore, because I do think that she genuinely wanted to be married.
And let's just say this little I'm on the show for fame type of thing. I feel like in my heart, most of the females are on here for the attention too.
Yeah.
More than so.
But they don't
talk about that though. Like, half of them only crying because they didn't get their wedding. And since we know everything is paid for through the show, that's a big whoop.
All that being said, though, I got on Monica ass. I'm about to get on Steven ass, too. That man did not care at all. He didn't have no remorse. It was given. I went to therapy. I said, sorry, what else you want from me? Like, he did not care. He did not feel bad. Mm-hmm. And he probably still banging that little jank that he was talking to. I don't know what was in the messages, but I know it was some freak, nasty, filthy funk. And, yeah, it was not a genuine apology. Right. I don't think that he felt no remorse. He was just giving, y'all not gonna believe nothing I say anyway, so I don't care. Whatever.
And then lying on national TV. And he lied,
crazy. Sir. That don't even make sense. You talking about I don't remember what was in the messages, but then in the same breath talking about she had a heart condition and it went to us talking about a fetish. How did that even? That
right,
even make
you need
sense.
to be worrying about your life. You finna die. You talking about a heart condition?
That
and you talking about
like you talking about you don't remember the message, but you remember she had a heart condition and you remember that it segued into talking about fetishes and you entertained that while you was married. Sir, you're lying. And then you talking about you never talked to her before that one day. How do you, with a complete stranger, while you in a sleep test?
I keep my phone open because I like, bro.
You were lying.
Ain't no need to keep your phone open if you lying. Like,
he lying.
You might as well put a lock on it.
Like, Steven, you're so unserious. And then he took the whole thing as a joke, and that really pissed me off too. Because for real. But honestly, I don't have a whole lot of remorse for Monica either, because she was just giving prissy mean girl, and I didn't like that. So yeah.
Now, do I feel like this could have been smooshed over and they could have still had a wedding? It depends on how remorseful he was for me. Like, I need to know that he would never do that again. And knowing his character, it probably would happen again.
I feel like, not necessarily. I feel like.
Oh.
No, listen. This is what I feel. Like. This is what I feel like. Only because of the experiment and the time frame. Love is Blind is only a couple of weeks, so this
I
like
Marriage
a
at
month
First Sight,
in.
So
it's like a month in, and you already talking to another bitch. We gonna have a problem. I'm sorry. I just feel like, okay, we have been dating for a while, and we have established a foundation. They haven't even established a strong foundation yet, and it's already happening.
Right.
I feel like if we have established something strong, we done built our foundation, and something like this, okay,
happens.
it's
now
really,
it's an insult. Now it's a slap in my face because we done already built this sturdy foundation, or so I thought.
Yeah.
And you wasn't building good on your side.
I feel like that's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But like early on, I don't know.
Especially, hear me out, guys.
But I do
Especially if he
still
ain't.
feel like that's really a big red flag if early on in the relationship you're doing that. Because who's to say what's gonna happen later on? And if you forgive cheating early on, he gonna drag you. I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna lie.
All right, the last couple I'm gonna talk about is Alex and Tim, because that other couple, Garrett and that other girl, they was boring the whole season.
They were boring.
I'm sorry. I don't really got nothing to say.
And then let's not talk about it. He did the same thing. He cheated too. He was talking to a girl too.
But it just
like I said before, I feel like a lot of guys did not have time to cut off their past lives. And just because they showing the guys, I want to make this clear on national internet right now. Just because you're showing the guys doesn't mean the females ain't. They probably had some tons of dudes in their DMs. They probably, mind you, let's be real, none of the girls were ever on their phones. And that's a flag too, because let me explain this. Being on your phone is a sense of being at a state. If I'm on my phone with you, I'm being myself. But if every time the camera's on, I'm not on my phone, or it makes it seem like I never be on my phone, you're trying to avoid something, or you don't want something to stir up. Like,
you don't want that notification to come across your screen.
Right. Or I don't know. I feel like girls are a lot more secretive when it comes to cheating, but they do it. And when they do it, it don't I will admit, with dudes, it'd probably be like one girl, but with girls, it'd be like 5 dudes at once, every time. It'd be like a group. They always have a telly. So, yeah, that's just my experience of what.
A roster.
Yeah, that's what they call a roster. So that's just what I experienced with females in the past. That has been true. So, yeah, I know some dudes that cheated, but it's always ever been the max maybe 3 girls or, 1 or 2, but not. Fellas, if you've seen a girl DM, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just blue lights all the way down replies.
All blue lights.
All blue lights. Story replies, heart eyes, all the way down. I'm like.
All right. With Alex and Tim, I need you just to let me get it all out.
Let you cook?
Yes. Okay.
Should I let her cook, y'all?
I got a lot to say about that. Okay.
Let me go and take my nap.
Yeah. Just don't even speak. Just let me talk for a minute.
3 hours later.
Alex and Tim. This is my theory. I don't think either of them ever should have been on the show. I think they both had their own personal issue going on, and they both came on this show trying to fill a void, and it was never gonna work with nobody. It don't matter who they was with. It was never gonna work with nobody. Tim, you are grieving your sister, sir, and you need help. You came on this show trying to find a replacement for your sister, and Alex was never gonna be that replacement. And as soon as you realized, as soon as that little theory you had, as soon as that little bubble you had got popped, that she wasn't gonna be your sister's replacement, everything went downhill from there. I think when they had that argument, and Alice called him up and put her hands in his face. He was like, in his head, he was like, my sister would never do this, and it popped that bubble. Yeah, Tim is grieving his sisters, and he needs help. He's grieving. You're trying to fill a void that you will never fill, sir, and you need to mourn your sisters and move on before you try to find love with anybody. It's never gonna work with nobody until you fully have moved on and grieved. And I'm sorry for you, and I feel bad for you. My condolences for your loss, sir, but you have not healed yet, and it's nothing that anybody is ever gonna be able to do until you have healed. Alex, She's still going through her own different type of grief. Her parents are still living, but her parents are sick, and she's grieving the parents that she used to have. They're no longer there anymore. Her dad is sick. Her dad literally went to a rehab facility a week before she came on the show. I think, and I also think that she was depressed. If you saw her house, if you know what a depression room looked like, and if you had been depressed before, you know what your room looked like when you was depressed. Her entire apartment looked like that. It was given. I don't know if she was just depressed or if she was stressed, but your apartment don't get that dirty just from packing.
And let's be honest, I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw her, I was like, she just dirty. But that's just me not knowing what was going on.
You don't know what's going on in somebody's life.
I did change my opinion on that. So I just want
my
to
thing about Alex, I think she was stressed about her parents' health, and she did not know how to handle that stress yet, and it was eating at her a lot. And I think she was trying to fill that void somewhere else, and Tim couldn't be it. I'm sorry. Now Tim,
I don't feel like he was romantic enough when he should have been.
He couldn't be romantic with her because he was looking at her like she was her sister. She was his sister. He was giving little brother. He didn't want to touch her because he didn't want to touch on his sister. And
she was the baddest on the show, in my opinion. And he fumbled really hard. That red dress she was wearing was cunt. Like, you fumbled real bad.
Alex was bad this season. She was bad. Okay.
Then to make her father cry, I'm
gonna get into that. Let me finish. All right, Tim was condescending and a gaslighter. That man is a gaslighter and a manipulator, and I do not like how he villainized Alex for things that are common and regular in relationships. Arguments are regular. Disagreements are regular. Not having the best communication with somebody who you just met is regular. Right. You have to establish these things. This is a foundation that you build. I'm gonna keep talking because I got a lot to say. This is a foundation that you're building, and so your expectations need to be communicated. You can't just expect somebody to know exactly what you want. You have to tell them what you want. If you want to be in a relationship with somebody who cooks and who cleans and who's submissive, that's what you need to
confine it.
Yeah, and so for you to think that you never had to explain that to her, it's just another way of doubling down on the fact that he was looking for his sister. He never would have had to communicate that with his sister because his sister already knew. Anyways, yeah, let's get into that argument that they had. I wish we could have seen the first argument they had.
Right, because my only issue is they didn't play no clips.
They ain't play. I felt like every single argument that we saw on the show, it felt like we got thrown into the middle of it, and we was just like, what happened?
Like we ain't watching stuff ourselves. Play the clip.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen firsthand what happened in that argument.
Y'all got clips.
But like they were kind of explaining what happened. It seems like Alex was breaking down, and she was not comfortable with that man enough yet, understandably, to explain those are very big feelings. Like I told you, I think she's probably depressed about what's going on with her parents, and she might not know necessarily she's depressed, but I think that that's a lot. Like your parents
hurt people, man.
Especially somebody that you're very close to. Like your parents go into a rehab facility and they're like, her dad has MS. Both of her parents have MS. That's a lot. And so having to handle all of that, and then you haven't seen him, and he just got put in a rehab facility, you haven't seen him in 3 weeks, that's a lot to be dealing with. And for you to communicate that you just need space, and this man is still in your face and yelling at you because you won't talk about something that you're not comfortable talking about with him yet, is like...
And let's be honest, they're black. That B word get thrown around on both sides.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, condone it. But it's like, I can't forget what I am.
Yeah, and also I feel like he tried to
dramatize it. Like every time it was his time to speak, you call me a B.
And you put your hands in my face. I feel like
my bad.
I feel like her covering. I feel like her covering his mouth was not like. I don't think that was her trying to put her hands on him. It was a
PTSD attempt, because when you can't verbally get out what you need, when you have this man just like just lashing on you, what can you do?
Yeah,
and she's not one, and you can already tell that she's not a weak female. She's not going to sit here and take it. So her covering his mouth just should have been a sign of like, hey, you're doing too much, just stop.
But he escalated the situation to a point of an explosion and then tried to be a victim. Right. And I don't like that. The dynamic that we witnessed on the reunion was telling to their entire relationship. That man still sat there and gaslighted her and manipulated her right before our very eyes. Like, how are you going to try to tell me?
Let me talk.
Yeah, like you could just, like, he talking over her. He never wanted her to get her point across. Tim very much just wanted everything to go his way. He is very one-sided. My dad is a Virgo, and he reminds me quite a lot of my dad. and it's just very much. He was just given very much like it's my way or the highway, and I didn't like that. And you can see it on the show. It's very telling. It's all right there before your eyes. The sleep issue, the issue with her taking a nap. Sir, I understand your parents drove 10 hours down here, but I done talked to your parents all day.
5 hours.
I gotta go to work in an hour. I'm taking a nap. Why would she not take a nap before she has to go work a night shift?
And
that does not
they
make
didn't
sense.
Specify if she didn't already talk to her parents about it. Like, what if she was like, hey,
And she
Mrs.
also
and
said,
Mrs., I'm going to take a nap. I love you guys.
She said in an interview that that's what she did. She said in an interview she talked to his parents before she went and took her nap, and they were completely understanding. So I feel like she's trying to make it into something that it's not. It's not that deep. I understand that you cooked for her parents and you did all of that, but you were not with her parents for 4 hours.
And you also probably didn't have work. What do you do for a living?
I actually don't know.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Y'all can let us know in the comment section.
And the biggest thing that I really dislike about Tim is the way that he disrespected her father like that. Because why would you go and make that sick man cry knowing that you have doubts? She literally said in the reunion 3 hours after 3 hours, not the same exact day
you get
that
put
you
on
made her daddy
stuff
cry.
like that.
3 hours after that, you told me you got doubts, and then that was before she went and met his parents. So after you told me that, you want me to go smile in your parents' face after you just disrespected mine? Tim, please sit down. I did not like that, and I don't care. That was disrespectful. If you knew that she had doubts, you never should have went and met her father, and you knew how much she cared about her dad. I don't care.
And have a heart, they sick, man. Like, come on, bro.
I don't care.
Her father could, barely get sentences out. So even to try to struggle to talk to you was an important thing.
Like, her dad accepted you as her son, as his son. You made him cry on national television just to disrespect his daughter. I don't like that. I don't.
And you gonna pay for that.
I don't like that.
You gonna pay for that.
He's a fucking villain.
And
that's what I said.
Also, I want to talk about who was really on here for fame. Mr. Leo.
I forgot about him.
Mr. Big Rolex. Yeah, I don't think it was Nick to be on this show for fame. I think it was him. Because any second he got, even when he, after you leave the pod, you can go back to your little room with your fellas. He flexing. Hey, guys, you want to wear my Rolex? Like, bro, come on, man.
But at least he did take accountability for it on the show.
Yeah, he did. But it's like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Then I can't let that slide, because it's just like you came on the show talking about I don't want people to judge me for my money and then talk about my money. That's like saying I don't want people to judge me by my looks, but every time a girl compliment me, I'm like, nah, I'm ugly, man. My nose is too big. I don't like my hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I just had an interview postponed before that. Like, yeah, my name is Makai. I know I look weird on the show. I don't want people to like see me past my physical appearance and then roll a clip. That's just me saying that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. And then I just felt like even with that girl, he played the mess out of both of them. And if you should be mad at anybody, Hannah, it should be him. Why you snapping on Nick? Because Nick actually cared about you. This the guy that had you literally crying in the pods. And honorable mention, AD, shut up.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have been here. That pissed me off.
I don't understand
that you had the courage to gang up on every man you just had an opinion on. Roll the clip. I remember you per se crying on national TV because this dude Clay was like, no. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm not trying to be no bully or nothing, but you can't talk about nobody if I roll this clip. Shut up. You shouldn't even been here. You over with. And I got a feeling you still talking to Clay because you a fool.
Yeah, I'm talking to somebody, but we're not gonna get into it.
Yeah, it's Clay. It's Clay.
But yeah,
that was stupid. And all the unnecessary fillers, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
like the show just should have been about people that was on the show.
This is not a Where Are They Now episode. Why do we keep bringing back?
This was a reunion of
season 1,
not a reunion XXL. Like, no,
they talking about this is our favorite bride, and she didn't even get married her season.
Right.
What? Why are we? Why
y'all
are
advertising people? Y'all ain't.
She was on season 1. She didn't got her little 5 minutes of fame. Why are we looking at her son? I don't even know this man. Anyway, bro. But yeah, that was the reunion. It was asked. They asked the right questions, and I'm on everybody asked. Yeah, it was asked.
We gonna roll it up after this, man. Make sure y'all sub to my YouTube, man. I'm really trying to get up there, man.
Like and subscribe.
You already know.
Leave a comment or two. Give us your thoughts.
Let's debate. I want to talk, man. The point of the debates is so y'all could comment and I could get that feedback. Like I want to engage with my followers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Give us your little 2 cents.
Right. I see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.
God bless.